amazing collection of flyer items that were part of a gentleman's home, and he was a father and he had children, and those children played with this as they were small, and then as the years progressed, one of the children inherited this set, and at some point the original owner passed on. And the son, whose name is Ron, struck up a conversation with me, and we worked out an arrangement, and he sent me what he had. There's some really interesting things about this collection. You probably are noticing that there's boxes, original boxes. That's not something you always see. And also lots of paperwork. And unfortunately, the original box that the train was in didn't survive, but they did manage to, save some of the emblems and markings off the box, which is really cool. And then over here, it's a little hard to see, is a card that the original owner had drawn the layout, which is kind of a, just grab it here. It's kind of a simple configuration, but it has passing siding in it. And so there's just some really interesting things to this. And of course, the best part is it has a story. And so thank you, Ron, for your willingness to pass this on. And as promised, I will work on this. I know I've not been able to get to it in a timely fashion as of yet, but that's not for lack of desiring to. But let's talk a little bit about the specifics of what we have in front of us. We have a 322 Hudson Smoke and Tender. Has the reverse unit obviously above in front of the motor in the chassis, or the boiler shell. And as you've probably seen if you've been in Flyer for very long, this must have been a very popular set because you see kind of these items fairly frequently. 322s, you see a lot of those. They typically came with the Missouri Pacific cattle car. So we have that one here. They also came with this side dump coal car, I believe, 716 with box, automatic 716 automatic dump car. They came with a Searchlight car, which I'll speak more about this interesting car in the future, but this is the original box. Came with this poor caboose, which unfortunately, it has fallen victim to some of the chemical leaching that happens sometimes with these plastics, but it does say 630 on it and Reading on it. And this is a lit caboose and in the original box. It does have a little bit of damage on the corners. The steps are missing. Looks like one step is still there. But then in addition to that, at some point, this six-wheel big flat car, the Erie flat car, was added to the set. And this, again, this is not part of the original set, but it's pretty cool that they selected this one. And again, it has the box, depressed center flat car, 636. And then, I don't know if I mentioned this, but this flat car with the logs, I believe, was part of the original set. I might be mistaken on that, but I think it was. And then at some point, they added this T&P gondola. It's interesting because this is a newer one. It's got knuckle couplers on both cars. And so at some point, the box car was converted to a conversion car, so it has a knuckle on one end and link on the other. And I also noticed that the caboose is also the same. It's got link on one end and knuckle on the other. So, so those are a few of the overviews. In addition to that, there's a wayside station with original box. I believe these were originally made for American Flyer O scale. but continued on after they switched to S scale. And it says here in the box 1949, and I saw here on the inspector's voucher that this is May 3rd, 1949. So that's pretty cool that all that lines up. Here's a Mystic passenger station, the name number 589. And this has no speaker system record player inside, so very basic, but an original box. And I noticed that the box that they put the original station came in is a very heavy cardboard, and it's just interesting that, you know, the packaging they used for that particular item is just different than what you'd expect to see. Over there, oil drum loader. We have a crossing gate that unfortunately has seen some long years. It's missing the roof, it's missing the crossing gate. Again, those are available, and so my hope is to repair that. I don't know if it operates or not. And then we have a semaphore Sam here, which appears to be complete, although it's missing the smokestack from the chimney. And there is the trigger button with that. I also got out some of the control pieces of track. You have a uncoupler, one of the first versions of that. You have the trigger track or accessory track for this 716, and it's got the trigger shoes underneath. And so that's kind of cool to see. You don't see those very often, but that again means this is a very early version of this side dump car. And when they first brought these out, they did use this kind of trigger, which actually has two powered rails that are inside. Then actually pretty soon, I thought it was in 49 when they switched, but I might be mistaken on that. At some point soon after, I believe this was manufactured, they switched to a side pickup, which is what you're used to seeing for cars, accessory cars that have kind of a power shoe that sticks out the side. One of the things I discovered kind of by accident on my layout is I had one of these installed because I was using side dump cars that needed it. And knuckle couplers don't always like this. If they're a little bit low, they'll catch this and cause a derailment. So a little bit of a side note. The other thing that's kind of interesting is, and this is needing some cleaning, but this has the black side rail. So that's kind of cool, as does the uncoupling piece. So it's neat to see a little bit of the black rail mixed in here. And then last but not least is a trigger here. It's cool to see this, and this number 697 has a couple pieces that came with it originally. They've got the instruction sheet for wiring it up, and you've got the little pouch that it came in. So that's really cool to see that this paperwork survived after all these years. I also kind of covered it up here, and I'm not quite sure how this occurred, but somehow we've got a Lionel automatic accessories in here. And again, this may be a holdover because of, some of this may have been used early on with American Flyer O scale. I'm not sure about that, but anyhow, kind of interesting. It could be that they had some Lionel stuff too. I don't know. Of course, we've got the operating accessories manual, but anyhow, really, really neat stuff. Now, I want to talk a little bit more about this engine. I am fortunate to have a couple of the Hudsons, and I'm fortunate to have a couple with smoke and tender, and I love them. They are absolutely one of my favorite engines, and obviously everyone has their opinion, but I am not alone in thinking the American Flyer Hudson is absolutely one of the best looking, best proportioned, most prototypical engines produced, and certainly does not look toy-like in appearance. So we have here this Hudson, and what again is pretty neat is it comes with the original box. Just slide this over here, and you can see 322 Hudson, loco, and tender with choo-choo, and smoke. And it includes the cardboard wrapper as well. So that's pretty cool. A couple things about this engine. You're probably noticing boiler front is down here. The bracket assembly, which holds the boiler front, has gone missing. I did find one part of it over there, but it's a piece that I've had to order. Also, the front tender wheels have come off. I also see that this has been, one of the flanges is broken. So this wheel definitely must be replaced, and I'm not sure if I'll need to maybe replace the front trucks altogether. We'll see. But a couple things about this particular Hudson that I thought were neat. First of all, notice that it's in good shape, aside from some of that, in terms of you don't see, you know, scratches, you don't see paint splatter that somebody tried to touch it up or whatnot. It is missing one of the concentric rods, so that's something that I'll need to replace. You can see this 322. It's really kind of cool. The ones that I have, I'm not sure if I have any that have this kind of font that was used in a 322, so that's neat. It also has this open-sided crosshead guide, and again, it's only on my earlier steam engines that I see that. So that's something that's just kind of unique. This particular engine has, again, been played with, which is what they're made to do, and through the years has suffered some damage. For starters, the coupler or link coupler is missing off the back. The bar that connects to the tender appears to me I'm not sure about this. It's just really bent up. It's also upside down. At least on the ones I have, they hang from underneath. So I don't know if the screw was just put in backwards or if it was stripped out, and so this was the way it was done. Someone was being very ingenious. They took some galvanized strapping and attached it behind the jack panel screw to try to hold this bar in place, because it's missing. Well, I guess the pin is there, but it's come loose. It's in need of some help. So anyhow, it's cool to see. You know, this engine was played with, and it took a licking and kept on ticking. So no worries. I think that's excellent, and my goal will be to work on this and do what I can to get it back into operation. I did put it on my test bed and put some power to it just to see what might happen. The smoke and tender motor tried to run. I heard it kind of trying to turn over, and I didn't take anything apart, didn't lube anything. I got no response from the engine and no response from the reverse unit. So again, certainly not scared away by that kind of result after it's sitting for who knows how many years. But anyhow, this is a project that I will be following up on, as well as more of this set. And at a future time, I'll be talking more about different components here. But I wanted to at least get some of this in front of us all, and just say, if you're a person out there that has inherited Flyer from a relative, take a look at what you've got, and please don't throw any of it away, because it adds to the story. And as I look through this paperwork, like I saw here, it said 49. On the inspection sheet, it said 49. There were some other documents I found that talked about 49 being the year that this was all picked up, and it's just neat. You know, I'm hoping that I hear more stories as time goes on, because as you've heard me say before, the engines and the trains are wonderful, but it's the stories that really are the best part of it. So, well, thank you for stopping in today, and I hope you've enjoyed this kind of different unboxing, if you will. And until next time, enjoy your American Flyer. Take care of yourself. God bless.